Hi, Maria. So, before introducing anything about yourself, do you remember your first day in Prague?
I remember how charmed I was with Prague and how beautiful it seemed to me on my first day here, like red roofs, historical buildings, everything so pretty. But also, on another side, I remember how hard it was to adapt on my first day to get used to new surroundings. And I think it took me around 1 week to start exploring city for real. Like my brain just refused to let me go out and like consume new stuff.
Makes total sense. So, when did you arrive and what was the process of you arriving in the city? Like, did you arrive alone or with some people?
Yeah, I arrived alone. Like initially I moved to Prague because my ex-partner lived here.
Really?
So I just moved for him.
Okay.
It was just me. And before this, I switched several countries. So I was waiting for this time.
And was it your very first time in Prague or had you visited the city before?
No, I've never visited Prague before.
Okay, so you moved like blindly, like, okay, let me go.
Yeah, like at that point, I didn't care in what country I'll go because like there is a war in my home country and so you just want to make documents and go to Europe where it's safe.
Yeah. Okay. And now it's been 2 years and a half in Prague, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
how
right.
would you describe like your integration process?
I would say it's getting better this time. At first, it was hard, but I also felt like curious to explore when I was ready, of course. I started learning language little by little, like getting to know culture more. And I think for me as a Ukrainian, it's easier because of my Slavic roots. Like language is more similar, the mentality of people, it's not so shocking to me. But yeah, like I understood that to integrate successfully, I need to start learning language, to understand better culture, and to stop reading news from my whole country.
Okay.
That's what I did. And of course, like to create a support system for myself. It's not a surprise that it's hard to find friends and the community when you're an expat. And I knew that I need to restart playing football and everything will be fine after that. So I started looking into options of what Prague can provide for women like me and found nothing. Everything is either for men or for kids or for professional athletes.
Okay.
And I have never played football in my entire life, like before I was 22.
Okay.
Like you have two options is like to wait for someone to create such thing or like to do it yourself. So it's like, okay, I'm exhausted. I'm not feeling like it, but I need to change something. Like I need to do something with it. Yeah, so I did, and I started creating club step by step. And I created a whole community where I have plenty of friends, and it really helped me like 100% in my immigration.
So how long after you arrived in Prague did you create this club?
I think after 1 year being here.
Okay, nice. So now it's a year and a half. It's quite young project still.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. And so you said you never played football before you were 22, right? So how did you get into football generally?
When I moved to Georgia and I was staying there in immigration, my neighbor asked me if I want to join her. I was like, ooh, football, like something for man. Like
Yeah.
I had a lot of prejudices in my head about this sport. And yeah, but the training session got canceled because of rain. And girls went for a brunch. I was like, yeah, I love it. Totally doable. And I met with them and they were so nice, like so supportive. They were also like immigrants. And I was like, yeah, I'm buying turf shoes right away. And I've never missed a single session since.
Wow, that's crazy. Do you want to, you mentioned you were exhausted, but still decided to create a club. Like, were you exhausting about like the mental health situation with Ukraine and everything? Or is that something different?
Yeah, I think everything in general. Because before moving to Prague, you look at the immigration process like it will finish when I move to Europe, when I do my documents. And when you've done it, and you move to Prague, you start understanding that it's just the beginning. It's not the end. And you need to start over in a new country. And it's awful.
Okay. So what made you the most proud of like starting this? Like, did you really start everything alone, or is it you met someone very early that helped you like build a club?
No, I started everything all alone. Like my ex-partner helped me a little, just giving advices or his perspective on stuff. But of course, like I put it all the effort myself, like looking into pitches, finding right coaches, recruiting girls, like everything.
Well, I didn't even think about the coach part. So how did you find your first coach?
I wrote a post on a Facebook, like Expats in Prague, that I'm looking for a coach for a club for women, and put a picture of Ted Lasso in there. And a lot of people wrote me back. So I started like interviewing them like one by one. And I had a gut feeling if it's like a right person or not. And after this, I met with a few of them in person and made trial sessions just to see them in action if we are like matching the vibe with them. Because I hate when coaches are toxic. It shouldn't be like this. And like I want to create a safe space for women to learn stuff without judgment, without being like punished for mistakes. I think it should be gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I never had a toxic sports coach in my life, but I guess it exists, obviously. Like my side of the story is almost like I always had a crush on my coach, like when I was younger, you know? So, but this makes sense. So is it also like all women's club? Like all the women's are a coach as well?
Oh no, coaches
okay.
are men.
Okay. But it could be women.
It could be, but there is no women coaches for
Okay.
some reason.
Interesting.
I didn't meet any.
Okay. And so how did the growth of the club went?
The most challenging part was to find a pitch for regular basis. Yeah, like a lot of them already have clients that rent from like year to year. So they constantly all booked like all the good times. And like recruiting people itself wasn't hard because it's something new, something fresh, and people were interested to come and try. So their growth was quite big in the beginning. And I think like in a month or two, we already like had everything online, like all the reservation system, like the website and everything. Yeah, so it started quite quickly.
But so you had to invest like a bit of money, right, to do all of this? Or
Like I had a little of connections.
how did
So some of the stuff came to me for free, which is some kind of privilege here. But of course, like if you know someone who can help you on the early stages, it makes the process easier. And also, I am an artist myself, so I could design something on my own, and I don't need a social media manager or like a content manager because I can do it myself.
So how did you choose the name of the club?
So it consists of two parts, like Roving and Cobras. Cobras is because in my country there is this opinion that the women can't be friends.
Okay, yes.
And they are called like snakes, like a nest of snakes, and that like toxic to each other, like serpentarian. And this name itself is an irony that women can be friends.
Okay.
And rowing because of immigration, like we immigrate from one place to another, but we are united through sport.
I think it could happen that sometimes you join activities in Prague, but everyone already have their lives. So they just come, do their sports, and then they leave back with their families or their friends, you know? So it's still like a step above to create the additional connection where you could meet like people outside and...
Yeah, that's what I hate most about like dancing studios, for example, here, because I also have a hobby like dancing. And everyone just comes and goes away, like no connection with members itself. So it's like impossible to make friends. But in a team sport, it's just impossible not to make friends.
True.
You need to communicate with your teammates, like to make a pass or create a situation, like how to score. And yeah, it stimulates people to talk with each other. And of course, we have like a small community actions that we do like to support this feeling like of belonging. For example, like during the trainings, we encourage each other with compliments, like with clapping if someone doing a good job. Like in the end, we do high fives, like good job, you really played well today, even if it's not the same.
And so you said you're an artist as well? Is that your main job activity?
Not anymore, unfortunately. I used to go to art college. And yeah, I was doing a freelance stuff for quite a long time. But then I eventually switched to more organizational and administrative work.
Okay. So are you still the only women's football club in Prague? Or did you inspire other people?
I haven't seen, to be honest, like
Okay.
that someone in Prague would create the same thing.
So how many players do you have right now?
You mean active members?
Yes.
I would say around like 40, 50.
Nice. And do you know how many countries are represented inside the club?
Yeah, like initially I made club only like English speaking because I wanted to get involved as many people as possible. And I didn't want it to be limited just with like Russian language or Ukrainian or like Czech.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we have girls from all around the world. Like we have locals, we have Czech people also, like girls from Latin America, like from America, from Africa, like basically from everywhere. I found a lot of friends there, which with whom I think like the only friends that I have are from football, to be honest. And I don't want to more. Like I have enough. And if there are people like from the outside, like what do you even can talk with them about? They know nothing about football. I can't discuss stuff about club with them. It's like inside joke now. Yeah, we're in touch with a lot of people, and I got a lot of close friends.
Okay, but do you sometimes feel stuck in this? Like, okay, I started this and now there's like so many people that come to my club and I have to like keep showing up for them. And like, what if, I don't know, tomorrow you're like, oh, I don't want to do football anymore?
Yeah, in the beginning, I felt guilt that I'm sticking to the middle group more than to beginners, and it's like who is gonna encourage beginners to like social events? Because like I was like in Indian for the community in the beginning, but after a while, I was just no, like I need to think about myself as well. Like I can't be everywhere. I'll just figure out there another system how to get them involved more in brunches and coffee. Like we need to be kind to ourselves.
That sounds lovely, actually. Like, same, I've never been super attracted to football. I don't even know if we used to play this at school. I don't think we have football at school.
I also didn't have football school.
More of a volleyball person, and you were mentioning the hard thing was to find like a available pitch. And it's really crazy in Prague, like to find an available anything. Like, so you said for football, for volleyball, if you want to go with your friends and it could be like 8 a.m. on a Sunday and you're like, maybe not. So yeah, even for bowling, like anytime I want to go bowling, it's like kind of a last minute thing. And all of them in Prague are like all booked. It's a crazy things.
Yeah, that's a big problem here.
Yes. Anyway, okay, so 2.5 years in Prague. Do you feel like you're gonna stay here?
I don't know. I'm not making plans anymore in my life.
Okay.
Like for now, I'm doing what I can to like to feel mentally good here. But I don't know what's gonna be in the future, and I don't make any plans anymore.
Makes sense. Is there any other thing that help to feel good in Prague?
I think finding your community is the biggest one. Like, of course, I can sleep well, like eat healthy, walk.
Yes.
But yeah, as an immigrant, I think the community is a big one. And just join meetups, find your people. Like if you're creative, go hang out with the sketchers or do some stuff, just socialize. It's a great stress release when you talk with other people and you exchange like your emotions and your life stories.
Nice. Yeah, I have this friend that every Saturday they have a drawing club in like some cafes, and I only found out about it like
Is
maybe
it
a
Erin?
month ago. What's her?
Erin?
Her name is
Oh, it's
Stasha.
her. Okay. Because I know this. I don't know if you know like this meetup, like drink and draw.
Yes, this one.
Yes.
Oh, she's going to this one.
Yeah. Like the organizer is Erin,
Okay.
and I used to go there, and it's really nice.
Well, how many talents do you have? Like you dance, you do football, you draw. Oh, but yeah, you were at art college. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess I don't know if I have found my community here in Prague. Like I would say I have like different groups of friends that I try to meet now and then. And I actually put a lot of pressure on myself to like meet my friends often. Like all of my groups of friends, they each bring me something different. But I think, it's the end of the year and I'm starting to think about next year and resolutions and everything. And I really want to focus my energy on like something kind of productive. Like I want to be surrounded by people that like try things and inspire me kind of. And so yeah, this is actually my goal for 2026. And but yeah, so I have different type of community. I never thought about just having one. So do you have some close Czech people in your circle of friends?
I do have a few Czech girls that we are friends. Like they are on the same team, like on the same competitive team. But I can't say that we're super close and that we are best friends. Like we are on good terms. And they're really nice. I know there is this impression that Czech people can be rude and cold. I think such people are everywhere. Like you can find rude people everywhere. It's not connected with just Czech people with their nationality. But yeah, I faced, I think only a few times in 2.5 years, like rudeness when I like was buying something or I was in a restaurant. And yeah, they just have this like brick face, no emotions. There is no such thing as like a service, like providing a service, I think.
Oh, for sure. Like every week I have an experience like this where I'm like, these people are really not trying at all to be nice and open, even if they're in the service industry or like some reception at some bar, at some cafes. And every time I'm like, yeah, get a little bit worked up on it. And I'm like, I should do better. But then it's like, okay, this is the only pretty much negative thing there is for me here in Prague. We were also comparing, like talking about relationship with some of my friends. They're complaining about this or this about their boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, but this is such a tiny thing. And like, look at all of the positive you have. And probably that's why you love them. So it's a bit of the same with Prague. I'm like, okay, I guess I can accept this little minus and just enjoy all of the positive.
Yeah, because if you look on the bright side, Czech people don't pretend. If they experience some emotions, they mean it. Yes. And they don't fake like their facial expressions.
Do you remember the best day you had in Prague?
I thought for quite a while about it. And I think it's hiking with my cobras. We went for a hike to the village where one of my cobras used to live.
I love how you mentioned one of my cobras, like out of the context. It's just so fun.
And yeah, it started all like cheerful and fun, but all of a sudden it started to rain really hard.
Wow.
And we were walking through the forest. It reminded of Twilight, yes, but also instead of like cute little forest walk, we got this. And we were fighting for our life to get through the rain just to come back home. Yeah, it was really fun. Even though the conditions were not the best, I think people around made this memory really happy and fun.
Nice. Cool story. That makes me think about a friend of mine. She once had to go to a team building with her company, her team. Maybe there were like 10 people. And they went to like an extreme camp where they had like no food for 2 days. And they had to sleep on the floor and they had to carry rocks on hikes and all of this to like make the team building like more impactful sort of. And like when she told us this, I was like, you did what? Like, why would you go into such like a a setting. Like it was even crazy from the company to ask this to their colleagues, and she loved it. I mean, to some extent, like during the thing was kind of hard, but they actually managed. But yes, so from hard situation comes us good moments sometimes.
Yeah, it's
That was
all
kind of
about
weird to say.
perspective.
Yes. Yes. Okay, and so you've been here 2 years and a half. I would like to ask you if you had like a main lesson for each of the year or a main anecdote moment that you want to share.
I don't really have one. It was tricky. I think I can generalize it to keep going. It's going to be hard, but it's worth it. Like, just try to concentrate on the bright parts and why you decided to do this.
Did you have like mini moments that made you think like, oh, it's worth it, all of the work that I'm doing here because of this?
I think, like, on contrary, I have moments when I like regret it, like, oh, I'm tired, I can't do it anymore, like this downs.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to remember what I'm doing this for. Like, I'm trying to remember what I like ran out from and what immigration brought me, like new people, new opportunities, new environment, like better life quality.
Nice. Actually, to come back to what you said about finding your community, I think it's a little bit similar. I would say like finding your purpose. Because, like, for example, this summer I had like knee surgery and my days were like very much the same. Like I was staying at home, like doing something on my computer, watching TV, reading a book. And all of my days were the same. And then I don't know, it was the first time in my life I was like, what is life anyway? Like we're just going day to day and waiting for what to do what, you know? So I was lacking some kind of purpose. And now that I'm back on my feet and I can walk everywhere, I like feel better because I can do activities again. The podcast is more easy to do again. But yeah, this sense of purpose, which I think is linked to community, is like I hope everyone finds it at some point. Like for some people, it could be family. For some people, some personal projects. So yes, nice. Okay, if you could change something in the Czech Republic, what would it be?
I would say medical system.
Yes.
Like getting doctor's appointment. Oh my God. It's insane. Like in my home country, it was so easy. Just like, it wasn't even expensive. You just go and you get good quality and like right away without waiting for months. Yeah, because you are in a queue or just it's your first visit or anything.
Yeah. I'm kind of lucky in that sense because my company has a service where we can contact some like reception and then they book doctor's appointment for us, like no matter what it is. So it's
So nice.
yes. And at some point they wanted to remove it and everyone like stand up and they were like, no, please leave it to us. Cause like maybe, cause sometimes you don't use it very often cause you're not sick or don't need anything. But when you need it, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What I would want to change about the Czech Republic. Okay, I know I can't change this, but we always joke that no matter which city you go to outside of Prague, it just looks like the other city, you know, like you could go to Pilsen or Olomouc or České Budějovice and they all have the main center square, like a Náměstí Republiky or something. And so I don't know, I would want to explore a bit more of like a change in the cities.
I would also remove Panelaki. They're so ugly. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah, I actually have never been into one. So,
okay.
but I see what they look like from afar, like, because you
Like,
can't miss them.
that's the type of building where I grew up.
Uh-huh.
That's why I know the
Okay.
pain.
Yes.
And like this historical building, like we live in a bubble, right? With this like historical buildings that look super nice, but like it's not all the Czech Republic, in fact. So if you look outside of it, it's so much different.
Yeah, but at the same time, they have a story. But then again, every building has a story. I was watching this video this morning about Panelaki, but in France. You would see the building, you're like, oh, it's so ugly. Like, why, wow, we even have this. But actually, it's from a very famous architect. The building now is protected by the state because it's considered as like a landmark. And actually, you go inside and it's quite nice because it's really well designed. But I haven't been inside to check that out, so I guess it would be different. I want to ask about is relationship a good word? What's your relationship with Ukraine now? Like, how do you keep in touch? Are you sometimes homesick? How long did you live in Ukraine for?
Oh, I used to live there for 15 years, mostly when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel connected to country anymore, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of my family members, they don't live there anymore. And my distant relatives, they also left country when, like in 2022, when war started. So I don't have roots over there. So I don't feel any belonging anymore.
Okay. And you still don't follow the news, or I mean, to an extent, yes.
Like not too much. Of course, if something happens, something big, it will be somewhere like on social media, and of course I will know about it.
Okay. If you had to leave Prague for some reason, what would you do for your last day in Prague?
I think the same what I do now.
Yes.
I would go for football with my girls and enjoy the game. And after we would like celebrate my last day here with a brunch and coffee.
Nice. What would you say is your favorite thing in Prague?
Transport system.
Yes. But so many people answer.
Yes. I went to Germany for 2 weeks and it made me appreciate Prague more.
Chill.
What else? I think parks also, like a lot of greenery over here, and I really like it.
Yep. All good answers. I would say the same. Like Prague is a big city, but still it doesn't feel like too big or too overwhelming. It's like nature around, and
It's easier to meet with your friends.
true. Yeah, it usually takes 20 minutes.
Yeah, to get anywhere.
I was in Dublin recently and everything we had to do took us like 40 minutes to get to a point. So yeah, that's why Prague is great. Okay, did I forget any questions? How would you describe the Czech culture to someone?
I would say people are like closed here, but once you get to know them, they are like melting. They are not that cold as they can seem. And you need to learn the language to make their heart melt, because you could really see difference when you speak to them in English, like to some of them, not all of them, of course. And when you speak to them in Czech, it's completely different person.
What's your favorite thing about the Czech culture, let's say? Or the Czech language could be.
I think like I like culture in a small things, like when you go to a doctor and you go to the waiting room, it's in a culture to like just to greet each other. And at first for me was like weird. What's happening? But then I get used to it, and just like manners here, and you just do it. And then when you go away, it's like let's. And even if you don't know those people who are sitting there, you are not like keeping it silent. It's like acknowledgement that you are there, and yeah, just the manners here like this.
Okay, I'll pay more attention like whenever I go somewhere. Yes. Okay, and how did you learn the Czech language?
Oh, I didn't. I have A1 so far.
Okay.
But I'm trying to learn. I did online courses first, then I went to like offline, like from Charles Uni, and then from Integrational Center, and they were quite nice. And I want to continue because like times will pass by anyway, and if it's either you're putting effort or not.
Yes, and time flies for sure, because for me, I've been here 7 years. And when I moved here, I really was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on Czech language, making Czech friends. And I don't want to be like an expat that doesn't speak Czech. And then I don't know, just years went on. And of course I can speak, but I think by 7 years I should be like fluent. And right now I'm like, yeah, maybe between A2 and B1
Mhm.
on the good days. So yes. Okay, so yeah, this could also be like something for next year. All right, usually the last question I ask to my guests is to make a wish and then blow the candle. You don't tell us about the wish, you just keep it in your head. And I hope it becomes true to you. And if it does, you can come back on the podcast and tell us all about it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a wish related to football, but I could be wrong. So yeah, whenever you're ready, you can make a wish. Nice. Okay.
Thank you for inviting me.
Anything else you want to talk about or you feel like we didn't mention?
I think we talked about a lot of stuff.
Yes, I think so too. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming. I'll follow your activities very closely and share everything for everyone to discover. And yeah, see you next time.
See you. Thank you.